Hey, once again, welcome to MMA Skills. In today's episode, we'll discuss how to best fight against a taller opponent. Let's get started. Since we don't have anyone taller than me, we'll use a punching bag instead. Damien plus the bag equals someone taller than me. Fortunately, I'll be the one demonstrating the techniques here. So all we need is someone just a bit taller to show you what fighting a taller opponent is all about. Our biggest challenge when fighting a taller opponent will be breaking through the distance. Obviously, when we're at a distance, his longer arms mean that his fist will reach my nose before mine reaches his, so we have to break through that distance. We have to be aware that a taller person will rely heavily on straight punches, will use front kicks, and will focus on maintaining that distance. As the shorter fighter, we have to make an effort to break through that distance. Few more words of introduction. When we're fighting a taller opponent, we have to be the one who's more mobile on our feet. We need to keep moving all the time so we don't become a static target, because otherwise they'll keep scoring on us with those left and right straight punches and front kicks. Another thing we need to pay attention to is that we want to trap our opponent against the cage. We have to direct our attacks in such a way and launch them at the right moments so that our opponent has nowhere to escape, gets trapped, and the distance is broken as a result. If we keep attacking and our opponent keeps jumping back, the distance will always be maintained. But if there's a cage and he has nowhere left to retreat and we attack then, the distance is neutralized and that's when we get our chance. The most common strike thrown by a taller opponent will be the left jab. That's why we need to try to dodge that left jab. When the left hand comes at us, it's best to slip to the outside. So we try to drop down low on this leg, but stay stable. It's very important that this step isn't a big one to the side, because then we'll actually increase the distance and we want to close that gap. We want to break through it. That's why we slip as close to the arm as possible. Of course, not so close that we get hit just enough, and now we attack with the right hand, stepping forward with the left leg. This way, I'm already in close range and can throw punches. My opponent has longer arms, so fighting in close range will be very uncomfortable for them. When I get in here, it could be a right hook if I really break through the distance, and if not, then it will be more of a looping right hand. I'm already close. And from here I can continue, whether it's body shots, which we also need to use against a taller opponent, especially aiming for the liberal shots to the face. It really depends on us how much we want to develop this combination. It's important to break that distance. And we do that by slipping and letting that left jab pass. If the left jab is coming at our nose, our head should move down enough that his glove just barely brushes our ear. Of course, our hands are still held high. We break the distance, again, right hand, left leg. We come in here, and from this move on, it's up to us how many punches, which punches, and what combination we use to continue. Of course, it could just be a combination of a right and maybe a left to the body, then a step back and another action again. But if we've already broken through the distance and are moving in on our opponent, I suggest making the action more elaborate. The hardest part is behind us. We've closed the distance. Now it's time to throw punches. So I suggest that after the right, you throw a left again, maybe to the body. You can absolutely repeat that, right to the head. Hop, hop. And as long as your partner doesn't jump back, because remember, he'll try to create distance again, meaning he'll move backward. As long as you have him within arm's reach, keep throwing punches. Technique number 2. What I mentioned at the beginning is very important. That is, we have to be the fighter who is constantly moving, always in motion. But when I approach, let's say with my left, my partner will most likely start to retreat and throw out his left. And if I keep pressing forward, I'll probably end up taking that left somewhere. That's why I need to break the distance as quickly as possible. And to do that, there's a really neat trick. You briefly, literally for a moment, place your left foot down. We can't stand like that for long because our partner will notice our foot nearby. And thanks to this, we're able to jump much farther forward and try to break the distance than if we just took a regular step. Yes, if I take a regular step, my left foot lands here in front of the bag. But if I do it this way, well, it's quite a lot of a meter in front of the bag. If I bring my right back foot close to my left foot, then I can reach much, much farther with my punch, and I'll probably be able to break through that distance again. And just like in the first technique, once the first punch lands, we try to keep the action going with our hands for as long as possible. As long as we have this distance, as long as we're close to our opponent, as long as our punches are reaching his body or head. So we move around. We don't let ourselves get hit by that left hand, and at some point we place that foot close, and thanks to that I'm able to jump in on my opponent. If I'm over here, then it's still too far a distance to reach him. So we move in, this foot comes up to this one, my torso can't move forward because then I'll signal to him that I'm about to attack. So we stay pulled back on this leg, hop, hop, we jump in, bang. Another very effective weapon when fighting a taller opponent is kicking. As you can easily guess, I don't mean high kicks, but low kicks. If your opponent is taller, their knee is probably also a bit higher. So the area we want to kick, the area we want to attack in this case, the calf is larger, which makes our task easier. Remember, we can kick with both the outside leg and the inside leg. And by repeatedly kicking the leg, our partner will become a bit more static and will have a harder time using that left hand because he always has to step in with that left leg as well in order to hit us. By disabling that leg after a few kicks, he might end up switching his stance. Maybe he's not comfortable with it, and that could make it much, much easier for us to get into close range or into a clinch. And now, the final move. The taller the opponent, the easier it is to go for his legs. If we have our opponent and we keep bouncing, constantly working off this leg, then at some point, when we slightly close the distance and he throws out that stopping left jab, it's really effective to slip under that left or right and go for the legs. What's important is that the taller the opponent, the less we have to bend down. If we had a very short opponent, then if we wanted to take him down by shooting for the legs, we would have to drop very low. Here, it's enough to just lower yourself slightly on your leg, and his punches will already be flying over my head. And because I'm moving forward aggressively, I'm closing the distance. Now, depending on what I like to do, whether I go for a single leg, a double leg, or into the clinch, it doesn't really matter. What's important is to drop down dynamically on your leg and drive forward forcefully. That way, the distance will be closed, we'll get into a clinch, and we'll most likely take our opponent down. And that's all for today's episode. Remember to leave comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because it really helps us out. We invite you to join the MMA Skills group on Facebook. Thank you, Tall Damien. Let's go.